Something for Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. Hi, welcome, come on in. My name is Aoife, and today I am taking you through the books that are coming out between October and December 2025 that I simply cannot wait to get my hands on. If you know anything about me, you will know that this list is pretty well populated by romance books, but because we're coming to the spooky time of the year, there's also a couple of thrillers in here. And I've also found a couple of Christmassy romances that might just get you into the festive season. Starting already with a book coming out on the 1st of October, and that is Dating After the End of the World by Geneva Rose. Now, disclaimer, I've never read a Geneva Rose book before, but the concept of this one just genuinely screamed at me. It is about a woman named Casey, and she grew up with a doomsday prepper father. When she was 18, she had finally had enough of this and moved out of her childhood home and left their small town. It is now 10 years later, and a virus has broken out across the world that is leaving people in a zombie-like state. Casey is kind of resigned to the fact that the only place for her to be safe is back with her father in his very prepared for this kind of a situation home. When she heads back to her small town, she realizes that it's not only her father who has been preparing for this apocalypse, but also a couple of other people in the town, and he has held everybody together in their bomb shelter, including Blake, who Casey knew in high school, and they had never gotten along with one another. I am so intrigued to see how this kind of romancy, horror-y, thriller-y kind of a book is going to work out. And if Geneva Rose is going to be an author that I really like. I have been following her on social media for a bit, and she is so incredibly funny and heartwarming, and I've really loved reading her posts. So hopefully that's going to translate into loving reading her books too. Coming out on the 7th of October is Good Spirits by B.K. Barrison. B.K. Barrison is an author who worked for me. I absolutely love her writing style. I love the stories that she tells, and I love that most of them take place in Maryland. It's a book setting that I don't usually read a lot from, but she brings the area to life in such a spectacular way. This one takes place in Annapolis, and it follows Nolan, who is manifested as the ghost of Christmas past. And his job every single Christmas is to follow around all of the terrible people of Annapolis and to remind them what the Christmas spirit is really about. He's not really sure why this year he has been assigned to Harriet. Harriet is, at her core, a good person. She is a people pleaser, and she cannot imagine, even for 1 second, upsetting somebody. The two of them have absolutely no idea why they have been brought together, but they have until Christmas Eve to figure out why it is that they have been bound together and to try and break free from those shackles a little bit. But it seems that Nolan doesn't particularly want to leave this time. Also coming out on the 7th of October is The Intruder by Frida McFadden, and this also features a girl named Casey. She's held up in a cabin in the wilderness, and this cabin isn't particularly designed to last. Everything is creaking and swaying in the wind, but that's kind of the least of Casey's worries, because she has just seen a figure of a young girl standing outside the window, and this is shaking her to her core, because the young girl is holding a knife and she is covered in blood. This young girl has got a secret that she is desperate to keep, and if Casey isn't careful, she is not going to be around the following morning to figure out what it is. I've really enjoyed the Frida McFadden book that I've read so far, The Boyfriend. I've also got The Housemate on my TBR for October this year, and I really, really want to get to it. I know that it's a series of 3, and I'm so intrigued to see what this is like, but I really want to enter my Frida McFadden era in 2025. I really want to see if her writing style is going to work for me, and if she's a thriller author that I, like so many other readers, can keep coming back to time and time again. Coming out on October 9th is Christmas Fling by Lindsay Kelk. I have loved Lindsay Kelk's books previously, but I've kind of been on a downward trajectory recently. Now, I am hopeful that this Christmas story is going to just bring me back up a little bit. It's about Laura, who was really excited about spending a Christmas by herself with a box of milk tray, a bottle of wine, and whatever TV is on. She has signed up to flat sit for a stranger, but it turns out that this stranger is Callum, and his entire family think that Laura and Callum are actually a couple. Instead of spending Christmas by herself as she's planned, Laura is actually invited up to the Scottish Highlands to be with Callum and his family for the Christmas season. They did initially start out as strangers, but it turns out that they might have chemistry that neither of them were expecting to. I absolutely love this kind of Christmas trope. The one where I know you're spending Christmas alone by yourself, come and spend it with my family, but also I need you to pretend to be my partner. I really love the stories that I have read in that kind of an area so far, so I'm hoping that this kind of turning it on its head is also going to work for me. Coming out on the 21st of October is The Devil She Knows by Alexandria Bellflower. I love the concept of this. It kind of takes a forced proximity and really runs with it. It's about Samantha, who has basically had the day from hell today. She has been broken up with, and she is trapped in a lift with somebody who is claiming to be the devil. Daphne is not necessarily what you would expect from the devil. She is pretty, she is witty, and she is wrapped up in a pink dress. Daphne offers Samantha 6 wishes in order to get her life back on track, but Samantha only really needs the one to get her ex back. So Daphne puts a kind of a disclaimer on. For every wish that Samantha makes, there needs to be a follow-up wish that's connected to it. It turns out that the thing of everyone's nightmares might just be the person of Samantha's dreams. Coming out on October 23rd is Girl Dinner by Olivia Blake. I've never read an Olivia Blake before, but this one just sounded too intriguing to pass up. And also, with a title like that, there was no way I couldn't not read it. This is about Sloane, a professor who has spent the last 18 months at home caring for her newborn daughter, and she's not entirely sure where she fits back into the working world. Her clothes don't fit her as well anymore. She feels like she has missed out on so much, that all of these opportunities have passed her way, and she just needs something that's going to bring her mojo back. It also follows Nina. Nina is a sophomore who has been brought into the House, a sorority on the campus of the university. Nina and Sloane will both be drawn into the sisterhood, but then they need to decide if the cost of this is something that they can stomach. I know that Olivia Blake writes a lot of kind of horror adjacent books, so I think that this is perfect for October. Let's see if this is one that will go down well with me. Coming out on the 11th of November is Next Time Will Be Our Turn by Jessie Q. Sutanto. I am expecting this to be somewhat like Frankie by Graham Norton, which I read at the start of this year, and I absolutely loved it. It's about Izzy, who has always felt like the outsider in her family, and she's not necessarily looking forward to her family's Chinese New Year celebration. However, when her grandmother walks in with a stunning woman on her arm and kisses her in front of the entire family, Izzy finds out that she may not be the only person who has been looked upon as a black sheep in her family. Magnolia Chen sits down with her granddaughter and tells her the entire story of her life. From growing up as a child in Jakarta, moving to the US, and falling in love and having a forbidden relationship with a beautiful young woman that she'd met there. I absolutely love the concept of this book, and I've loved Jessie Q. Sutanto's writing, but I feel like this is going to be the first book of hers that we're going to have a little bit more serious topics from. A lot of the books that Jessie Q. Sutanto has written so far have been kind of satirical, kind of funny. I'm really excited to find something a little bit deeper from her. Finally, coming out on the 30th of December is In Your Dreams by Sarah Adams. This is going to be the final book in the Rome, Kentucky series, and it's following Madison. She is the sibling of Noah, Emily, and Annie, whose books we will have read in the previous series. Madison has always had dreams of becoming a chef, and she actually went to New York so that she could hone her culinary skills, but that didn't work out, and she has come back to Rome, Kentucky with her tail between her legs. However, there is a huge professional opportunity that she doesn't feel like she can pass up. There's just one hiccup. The head chef of the restaurant is James. He is her brother's best friend, and he is the last person that she would ever want to work with. They've been trying to keep things professional between themselves, but the town has started to meddle in their relationship, and it turns out that the heat might be turning up not just inside the kitchen, but outside of it as well. Something that I love about Sarah Adams' books is that she can write such phenomenal tension and chemistry and doesn't need to write smut to make it work. For people who like to read closed-door romances, I have always recommended Sarah Adams' books to them, and I think that she is such a phenomenal writer. I cannot wait to read the last book in this series. those are just some of the books that are coming out in the next 3 months that I cannot wait to get my hands on. What is one book that's coming out in the next couple of months that you are super excited about? If you'd love to leave me a comment, but you can't think of anything you'd like to say, then just leave me the first emoji that comes to your mind when you're thinking about the next 3 months that are coming. Don't forget to like and subscribe because I have new videos up every week. Now, get on out of here.